In order to get to Jean, it's quite a journey. I take a bus to a light rail station. I take light rail to another bus stop. I take that bus to a subway station. I take the subway as far as it goes, and then one last bus to get from the subway station to within 2 blocks of Jean's nursing home. It takes about 2.5 hours to actually make the trip. So my wife Jean and I have been married for 26 years now. We were engaged 2 weeks after our first date, and then we waited 3 years before we got married. When Jean was diagnosed with MS, it was more than a little bit of a shock, and it happened to come on her birthday. She hung up the phone, burst into tears. I didn't give myself the luxury of feeling anything because all I felt was I had to be here for her. She became seriously symptomatic. It impacted every aspect of her quality of life, I'm afraid. And my role as her caregiver continued to evolve and grow as her disability continued to multiply. I think I learned how to become a good caregiver by first making every mistake you could make. My role now is caring for her by being her advocate. I'm John Strum, and this is Real Talk MS. What I do is I host a weekly podcast called Real Talk MS, which is aimed at people who are affected by multiple sclerosis. Advocacy, speaking out on your own behalf, is important. I think it's empowering, and that's why I suggest caregivers have to remember to talk to someone. It is such an isolating role, and it's good to make sure you have people around you that can provide that safety net. I think that male caregivers have a more difficult path to take because we are the worst when it comes to asking for help. If I had one single piece of advice, learn to ask for help and then learn to accept it. I think others can give some time back to caregivers by taking some of that responsibility off their shoulders, like coming over and bringing dinner to visit instead of coming over expecting dinner when you get there. If I met someone who was just starting their caregiver journey today, the biggest thing I'd want to get across to them is that they weren't alone. There have been times when Jean was able to just look at me and say, "Thank you." And it was the most profound thanks that I think I've ever received. We talk a lot about people being able to live their best lives with MS, and I think that people who are caregivers have an equal right to live their best life. I'm John Strum, and I'm a caregiver for my wife Jean, who's living with progressive MS. EMD Serono, through its Embracing Carers initiative, is leading a global call to action to support caregivers around the world, bringing attention to the one thing caregivers need more of: time. Visit www.embracingcarers.com to commit your time to a caregiver in your life. Join Time Counts.